Welcome to the Printed by Mama podcast with me, your host, Kirsty Field, supporting small business owners, entrepreneurs, creatives and crafters, encouraging you guys at home to just keep crafting and create a life you love without sacrificing yourself or your family. Each week I'll be bringing you inspiration, support and guidance on how to turn that hobby or side hustle into your dream job. And I'll be joined by some amazing guests who are already living their dreams. So without further ado, let's get started, shall we? Welcome friends, it's your host Kirsty Field here, wife, mama, small business owner, mentor, crazy craft lady. Thank you for joining me again for another episode of the PBM podcast. This is episode 4 and today we are going to be talking to you about something that I feel very, very passionately about, as I do with all things that I talk to you about on the podcast, but it is validation by numbers. Yes, that's right. Validating your existence, your life, your business, your love by numbers. It's a dangerous game. Before we get started, I just want to do the housekeeping as I always do at this point in the podcast. Please come over and join us on Facebook. We are on the Printed by Mama page. We also have the Printed by Mama group, which is a private group on Facebook where all of us like-minded creatives, crafters, mamas, crazy people, we all get together and have a little chat and a moan and a share of our experiences, and it's a fantastic place to be. So if you're not there already, why not? Please come over and join us on Facebook and introduce yourself. Let us know what you're doing, what crafts you're up to, what businesses you own, where you are in your journey and where you would like to be, because we would love to support you in your dreams, and that's exactly what we do here at PBM. So make sure you're over there. Also, whilst you're on YouTube here listening to this podcast, it would be amazing if you could like this post, this podcast. It would be fantastic. And also make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you can stay up to date with the next podcasts that we have, and also with our YouTube videos that are coming soon. It would be amazing for you to support my business as I do yours. So thank you so much. That's the housekeeping all wrapped up. So validation by numbers. You may know what that is, you may not, but I've decided to talk to you about this quite early on in the PBM podcast journey. It's probably going to be something that I revisit at some point, because I think it's really important that I make sure that you guys remind yourselves of this. I'm guilty of it, as I always am with everything that I talk about. I talk from experience. I am honest. I am open. I am transparent with you guys about my journey through everything, because I want you to know the highs and lows. But validating your business, your life, your everything on numbers. And there are a few different numbers that people tend to look at, right? So the first one we're going to talk about is money. The dreaded M word, right? Money. It is the life and soul of most things. It makes the world go round. You can't do without it. It's there, right? And you have to, whether you like it or not, be involved in money. You need money, right? You're living in a house. You've got to pay for that house, whether you be renting, whether you be owning, or whether you be a homeowner and you've paid off your mortgage. I am bloody jealous. But you have a house. You have to pay to run that house. So you've got your ridiculous gas and electric bills right now, as they are in the UK, with us facing the energy crisis. That has probably been one of the most hard-hitting changes when it comes to money in the UK right now. And also just generally the cost of living crisis, the cost of groceries, the cost of everything. Here you go. I'm going to tell you this. We buy like grated cheese in the bag. I don't know whether that's allowed or whether that would be considered quite posh or lazy or whatever, but sometimes I like to just grab a handful of cheese and just throw it on the pasta or whatever it is that we're having for dinner. We eat a lot of cheese in our family. We could really do with a dairy farm. But we eat a lot of cheese, and for convenience, I do buy blocks of cheese as well, so it's not unheard of that I will get the grater out, although I'm always still, after all this time, really, really scared I'm going to grate the crap out of my fingers. And I have grated my fingers before, and it bloody hurts. I know you will know if you've done it yourself. It hurts if you grate your fingers on the grater, right? So part of me is a fear factor, and part of it is just for convenience. I buy grated cheese in the bag, right? So the grated cheese that I buy in the bag has been it's a 250. This is really sad, right? This is how much I know about this and how mad I am about it. The grated cheese in the bag is a 250 gram bag, and it's been £2 for £5 with where I buy it from forever, for as long as I can remember, because I always get the £2 for £5 in my weekly food shop. I'm not saying we go through both bags a week, but I always get two because they're on offer, and they've always been £2.50 each, or the £2 for £5. So I always get £2 for £5. When I did my food shop this week, no word of a lie, right? I went on to find the cheese, and I had more difficulty than normal because it wasn't coming up in my usual items that I buy, like on the online shop. And I thought that was weird, so I had to physically go and find it. That was inconvenience enough, because most of the time I usually just go through and order the same meals, like click, click, click. We're having exactly the same dinner in the same sequence that we had last week, and that's our little mode. But I felt inconvenience that I had to go through the groceries and then go into dairy and then go into, I had to go through all the sections. So I found it eventually. One bag is now £3.49. What the frig is that? £3.49? That's nearly £1 difference in a week. What the frig? So I've long story short, I've had to get over my aversion to grating cheese, because there was no way I was paying £3.50 for a bag of cheese, or £7. So, what bought me a week ago 2 bags of cheese, a week later it's the cost of almost 3 bags. That's ridiculous, and that's how quickly prices are changing here in the UK. And I know that I am not the only one that is so pissed off about that and how our country is being run right now. With the cost of everything, it is ridiculous, and it's hard to make ends meet. Absolutely so. And like I say, you guys already know, I've told you, PBM is a new starter business, and I don't have an income right now, so I'm feeling the pinch too, guys. I'm right there with you. So maybe we'll have to go without the cheese. The pasta won't be the same, but hey ho. Anyway, less about, it's making me hungry. It's nearly lunchtime at the moment, but less about the cheese. Money, and validation by money. Now, in business, one of the key factors of business and running a successful business that you can continue to run, basically, is by earning money from it. And I am speaking from experience right now as a small business owner, as a startup, that I would like to get to a position in Printed by Mama where I can earn a salary, right? Now, I'm not expecting that salary to be 6 figures. Heck, if it gets to that point, I ain't going to say no to it. Let's be frank about that. In my wildest dreams, that's where PBM will get to. But if I can earn minimum wage doing what I do for PBM and be able to contribute to our household, because at the moment I'm not contributing. If I can be contributing to our household, doing what I love, that is the dream. That is the goal, right? But I am motivated by that. That's not the reason that I am sat here in my slippers doing my podcast to you right now, because I want to earn money. That's not why I'm here. Now, the difficulty is that you have that hand in hand with what you do on a daily basis. So we all got bills to pay. We've talked about it already. We've all got cheese to buy, right? So because of that, you need to earn money. And that is why so many people in our remit, in our sector that we're in, as hobbyists, crafters, creatists, they do it as a side hustle, as a part-time, as a something alongside what they do full-time, because they got to pay the bills. Now, the dream for everybody, I think, who is a creative of any way, shape or form, is to have it be their income. Have it be that they can do what they want to do, that they can do what they love and still maintain life. Not a lifestyle, I'm not talking about having a millionaire lifestyle while you drive around in a Ferrari and you eat out every lunch at different places and you go to Selfridges and everyday shopping, and Starbucks is, on the daily. That's a completely different lifestyle, and for a lot of us that will always remain a pipe dream. But to live your life, be able to physically live, to be able to eat, to be able to have shelter, to be able to have warmth, to be able to feed your kids, to be able to just maintain life through doing what you love, that I think is the dream for everybody. Everything else is extra. Everything else is extra. And that, in terms of validation, to me, is more important than earning a six-figure sum, than shopping in Selfridges, than being able to go on all these expensive holidays. And I think a massive part of running a small business and being a business owner is that you've got to still be humble, and you've got to remember those roots that you came from and those days where you did struggle. But that is difficult when you validate yourself with numbers. That is difficult. It's next to impossible. If you are going to run your entire business based on numbers, you ain't going to enjoy it. You're not. And I want you to be doing this first and foremost because it's what you love. Because it's your passion. Not because you are going to be living your life based on numbers. Your life is worth more. You are worth more than a validation than any figure could give you. Any figure. Especially when it comes to money. You put in a value, you put in a worth on yourself, on your skills, on your passion, on what makes you happy. How is an amount of money gonna do that for you? Sure, money helps. Money opens up new doors. That's what money does for you. It opens up possibilities. Outside of maintaining life, money opens up other possibilities for you. But it's not the be-all and end-all. And it shouldn't be the it should not be the everything of your business. It shouldn't be. Because there is so much more value that you can get from running a small business than you can from just making money on it. Now, what I don't want you to think is that you're going to do the complete opposite, right? That you're going to build a business and you're going to make all these products, or you're going to, sell your services or whatever it may be, and you're going to be losing money, because that's not practical, is it really? In the grand scheme of things, if you want to buy that cheese like I do, you can't afford to be going backwards. But I don't want you to feel pressurized in going forwards, and that's the difference. You shouldn't feel the pressure of a financial figure over your head being the sole drive for your purpose in life. Like I've said to you before in previous podcasts, I left the 9 to 5. I left the box. I have really valuable skills when it comes to administration and managerial. And, I could walk into a job in a lot of places right now without a shadow of a doubt. I'm going to big myself up for a second here, because we don't do this enough. I'm going to big myself up, and, PBM is where I am right now, and that is where I am staying. But I could walk into a job in pretty much anywhere and do the admin for it, without a doubt. I could walk into most places in terms of, management and be a manager somewhere and manage and do it successfully. It may take me a little while to, get off the ground and get to know how things are done and the companies run, etc., etc. But I am confident that I could walk into a job right now and be picking up a decent salary and start immediately contributing to our household. Would it make me happy? No. Heck no. No. It would not make me happy, which is the reason that I left the rat race in the first place. I got off that coaster. I was done working for the financial validation that a guaranteed salary on a monthly basis would bring into me. That's not how I wanted to live my life. That's not the reason that I was placed on this planet. And it's took me the best part of 20 years or longer, because I've been obviously in the working sector for longer than that. But since all of this started and I first came across crafting and creating and all that sort of thing. 20 plus years I have been doing stuff for a paycheck. And that is, you're only here once. Bloody hell, why is it so ingrained in us in a society that you go to work to pay bills? I just don't get it. There is so much more to life. There's so much beauty. There's so much passion. There's so much out there other than being alive to work and to pay bills. And how many people can say that they are happy in their full-time job, right? My dad to me when I was younger used to say, if you have a job that you love, you are very, very lucky. Because people don't have a job that they love. If you do, then I would love to hear from you firstly if you do have a full-time job that you love. But if you have a job, within what you would call a normal job, so maybe not working for yourself, because if you've built your own company and that's your baby and that, then obviously you're going to be happy about that. But if you work in a particular sector or you work for the man, that's how I like to, sort of describe it. If you work for the man, if you work for the work, right? Most people, 99% of people are not happy in that job. They go to the job to pay the bills, right? They try and get the promotion to earn more money, to pay the more bills, to pay the more expensive bills, to buy the cheese, right? That's so sad. That there's only one word for it. That's sad. That is why you get up in the morning. That is why you function. That is why you are living, functioning, breathing right now, to be in this repetitive cycle of getting up, going to work, earning the money, paying the bills, getting up, going to work, earning the money, paying the bills. That sucks. It really, really does. And it's not until you step outside of that and you understand that that's not how you have to live your life. If you're doing that, you're choosing to do that. And you may not have a choice to choose that, if that makes sense. You can't choose not to because of your circumstances, right? And I completely get that. Like I say, I am not saying that you, and I have never encouraged anybody to do what I did at the beginning of this year and give up a full-time salary to be living in a household with 2 kids, with bills to pay and with 1 salary, and making the decision to live like that, because it is bloody hard, and I would not encourage anybody to do that. If you are in a position where you can look at doing that and really go after your goals and your dreams, and that you're still going to be okay, right? You can still maintain life whilst you do that. Go for it. Go for it. What have you got to lose? But you need to be able to maintain life. So when it comes to your business and validating yourself by a number, you gotta stop thinking like that. You've got to, because that is the healthy way to think about what you're doing. With PBM, for example, like I say, I want to earn a salary from PBM because I've got bills to pay. I have not, in any of the plans or goals or dream journals or, mood boards or all of this stuff that I've been doing the last few months whilst I've been developing the brand and bringing PBM to you, I have never put down an amount of money that I want to earn. Like, I have not put down on anything I want to earn £1 million. That's not one of my goals. Did I want to start my podcast? Yes, that was on there. Do I want to start my YouTube videos? That's on there. Do I want to get a shout out from somebody on social media because I have helped them make the leap from hobby to small business and they've made their first sale? Yes, that was on there. Not an amount of money. I haven't put on there, I want to earn 6 figures. I want, and similarly to money, I haven't put physical things on there either. Like, I haven't put, we would love to buy a house. We're privately renting right now, okay? And to digress again, when when all the difficulties first happened with my mental health 20 years ago, I spoke about it on the last podcast if you were there, when I lost my mum 20 years ago. That was the start of the difficulties with my mental health. And we actually lost the property we were in. We gave it back to the bank. We were in an apartment which we actually owned, but because I stopped working immediately and we couldn't afford the mortgage, we gave it back to the bank so that we didn't have to be made bankrupt and we didn't have the house foreclosed on. So we voluntarily gave the house up and we moved into a private rented place, and we've been in ever since. We've been privately renting. Would I like to own my own house one day outright so that it's not paid for? Yes, of course I would. What a silly question. Who wouldn't want to own their own property and have that as something? But it's a status symbol, isn't it? It's a number. It's you putting a number on the fact that you need £500,000, for example, to get a nice house nowadays. I mean, houses are ridiculous, aren't they? Like the cost of everything else. You know, you can't buy cheese, you can't buy a house. I want you to try and get out of the mentality that you are only as good as how much money you make through your business, through your hobby. Over the last few weeks, I've been recording podcasts with some of our guests. Those of you who perhaps are new to the podcast, who haven't joined us before, welcome firstly. I'm sorry, I forgot to welcome you at the beginning of the show. But those who are new and who don't know, we do Sunday Social, which is where I have a chat with one of you guys out there who's already got a business or a hobby or a side hustle or whatever it is. And we talk about your journey and your story and where you're at and where you want to go. And we have a cup of tea and a natter, and it's all fun. And I have some people that I've spoken to on the podcast or that have reached out to me via socials or via the website that aren't earning any money from their side hustles and never intend on doing so. One of the PBM community actually contacted me because she gives all of her makes to charity. So she doesn't make a penny. She actually loses money because she buys all the materials off of her own back to make the things that she makes and then gives them away. Who's to say that that's not a business, right? Because she's earning zero, because she's minus, because she's in the red. That's her business. She's in the business of creating that joy and happiness and giving that to people. And that is more than satisfactory to her. That is her business. And she loves what she does, and so she flipping should. I am so proud of her. She, you know, really, really inspires when it comes to getting involved and you know, charity and, you know, giving back to people who perhaps can't afford or, you know, we're talking about money right now, people who are having difficulties. To be able to bring that tiny bit of joy to somebody without expecting monetary gratification from it is amazing. That is the best feeling in the world. Over the years, I have given away so much of the stuff that I crafted. And although I gave it away in some ways because I needed to make space for new stuff that I was making, I also gave it away because it gave me joy. It gave me pleasure to do that and to give that feeling to people. It takes me back to when I told you the very first podcast that we had, when my friend made that ring and she showed it to me and I complimented her on the thing that she had made, and that made her feel really good. You know, that is more than enough for some people, and it's more than enough for her, and I'm so proud of her. And that is her business. She don't run on money. She does it for the love. And that is worth more than any amount of money. You know, who wants to be in a business where you earn 6 figures but nobody likes you? Who wants to do a business that potentially is catastrophic or negative to the environment, or, you know, is about all the haters? No, nobody wants a business that runs like that just so they can earn 6 figures, right? Nobody wants that. Why would you want to do that? That's not fun. That's not a good life. That's not, you know, that's not going to make you happy. The other validation when it comes to numbers is, of course, the minefield that is now social media and how it works on that basis. Okay, I've been running PBM for a few weeks now, and although I have glanced at the numbers in terms of how many subscribers that I've got to certain things and how many, you know, how many people like the community page, for example. That's a prime example. How many people are on the community page? I am not on that number to look for validation. The reason that I am looking at that number is there's one goal that I have for PBM, which is I would like to get to a point where I can potentially start outsourcing some things. So the PBM community page is one of them, so that in the future, you've probably seen, if you're on any of the groups, this is something that you've probably seen and that you know of and you're aware. Some of you may already be doing this if you've got your own group, or if you are part of other groups. There are moderators on the groups, right? And it's people who look after the group as well as the owner of the group. So it would be me. So as well as me being able to respond to your comments as part of the Printed by Mama brand, as part of PBM, there would be moderators who follow the same ethos, they have the same background as me, they have the same belief system, the same ethics, and they would assist me in running the PBM community page. And that is a goal for me. That is something that I'm certainly looking at in the future. And that is the reason that I look to that number on the group, because I am monitoring when I can potentially get to that phase. I do not get any validation from the fact that I have gained 20 new people in the last 46 hours or however long it is. I'm not setting myself targets to get to 100 subscribers or this or that or the other. And again, it's exactly the same with YouTube, right? I am asking you to like this. I am asking you to subscribe. I am going to be completely transparent in that I would like to monetize my YouTube channel. That is part of my PBM brand. That is part of where I hope to get minimum wage for what I'm doing by monetizing the YouTube channel. And I'm transparent about that. It's not something I'm going to lie about. You know, that is where I would like to take the brand. I would like to monetize my YouTube channel, and that takes time and it takes effort, but I have not set myself any targets as to when that needs to be done by. I have not said, do you know what, I'm going to push really, really hard on YouTube today. I need to get at least 10 new people to like or subscribe or whatever, because I don't want that kind of pressure. PBM is going to evolve as a brand with my passion, with the love from you guys and from the energy that I put into it. And it will happen when it happens. I am not in a rush, although it would be nice so that I know I can buy more cheese. I am going to let it evolve naturally as much as possible. So although those figures, those numbers correspond to other goals and dreams and targets that I have from PBM, they are not everything. They are not everything. And I am looking at them from an analysis point of view and from a sort of me wanting to be aware, an awareness rather than an end goal, an end game, something that's pressurized. It's not a target. And I think that people need to get their heads and their hearts to really correspond with each other when it comes to that business and hobbies and your life should not be validated by numbers. It's not a healthy way to live. We should not be judging people or business or anything by numbers. You should not. No judging by numbers. I am banning it right now. We do not judge by numbers. Can you celebrate those numbers? Hell yes. If I get 6 figures, I am going to be celebrating, right? I'm not going to. When I get to 100 subscribers, 1,000 subscribers, when I do finally monetize my channel, which it will happen, and I have faith that that will happen, you know, it's going to be organic, and I'm going to let it happen when it happens, and I have faith and I trust in the process, and I trust the brand, and I believe in what I'm doing. That will happen. When it happens, I'm going to be celebrating it. Of course I am. But am I going to be checking that on a daily basis to see if that happens and stressing about it and getting sleepless nights about it and thinking, oh, I need to put this crappy content on because I definitely need to make another 10 subscribers? That's not how I am running PBM. It's exactly the same with the sales side of things, right? I am not going to be hard selling you on anything that I am doing because I don't believe in that. I am providing a service for you guys, but it's something that I want you to voluntarily take part in. I'm not going to be hard selling it to you guys. I'm not going to be ramming it down your throats. Yes, there is a PBM shop coming. Do you want to buy anything from the shop? No? Well, that's fine. Am I saying that you can't listen to the podcasts if you don't do that and that you can't be part of the community? Screw that. I want you to be with me whether you are spending money with me or not. You are welcome here. Because the value that I am giving you is not from things that you can buy from me. It's being part of the community. Being part of the PBM community is where the value lies. If when I've finished my book, which I am trying hard to finish, when I publish my book, which I will be self-publishing, by the way, on Amazon, and I am going to be doing some things to do with courses and mentorship and things like that on self-publishing, because I find it fascinating. And for those of you who don't know already, and I don't think I've covered this yet on a podcast, I am a published author. As of 2023, so I actually started in 2022 publishing via Amazon KDP. I have 3 children's books and I have 12 self-published works under a different pen name, which I won't go into. But yeah, and then I have multiple others that are part finished and part uploaded and things like that. So I have nearly 20 self-published works in less than 6 months. And that is something that I self-taught. I did the legwork, I did the reading, I did the learning, I went out, did the research, did it for myself. I fell, I went through the pitfall, I made mistakes, I redid it, and now I am confident now that I can share that with you guys. So that is going to be something that is coming. I'm going to be teaching you how to do that. There's going to be a book about it. There's going to be a course about it. There's going to be live one-to-one sessions that you can book with me. And of course, those are going to be services. And yes, they are going to cost money. But there is nothing to stop you. And I'm not telling you not to go out and do the research and stuff like I did and learn how to do it yourself. But I will happily teach you everything that I know about it. But I'm not going to be hard selling you on it because I don't believe in that. You and I are friends. I like to think we're friends. You're my friend. If I'm your friend, that's up to you, and I can't influence that. But you guys are my friends. I consider you friends. And I'm here to call you out on the BS. On the bullshit. I am here to call you out on it. And if you want my help and advice, it's here for you. But that would come with a cost attached when it comes to that point. If you want opinions and things, then I'm happy to give those to you. And I've only got so many hours in the day, of course. I'm not going to be able to speak to everybody one-to-one and tell you what I think of your candle that you've made, or your business logo that you're thinking of, or, your opening hours, or how much you should charge for a particular there's only so many hours in a day, which is, again, why it comes to me as a business and PBM evolving and getting more people involved and the community. Again, I keep coming back to the community. That is exactly what the PBM group is about. That's going to be you going out there and asking those questions to others. Do you want to learn more in depth about those things? Yes, and that is when you will start looking at the services that I provide, and I will be more than happy to talk you through when they start, which is not yet, so don't worry. But I digress again, back to the validation. PBM for me is not about numbers. And your business should not be about numbers either, because you will drive yourself crazy monitoring your Facebook, monitoring your YouTube to see if you've got to the monetization status, panicking when you haven't. How many orders have you got in this week? I'll tell you about Etsy right straight away. I read a really interesting article the other day that said that Etsy sales so far for 2023 have taken a massive hit in comparison to previous years. And Etsy are desperately trying everything they possibly can as an e-commerce platform to try and raise business across the board for everybody that has a store on Etsy. It's affecting everyone, not just you, not just your store, right? Now, if you hadn't read that, if I hadn't just told you that I read that article and you're on Etsy and you haven't got any sales so far this year or this month or this week, you could think that that's just you. And if you're sitting there monitoring those numbers of how many people have looked on your shop and how many people have bought or how many clicks you've had through your adverts or anything like that, you could drive yourself crazy with those numbers and deem yourself completely unsuccessful based on those numbers. You are not unsuccessful based on numbers. You are unsuccessful if you stop trying. If you give up, if you throw in the towel, that makes you unsuccessful. Because you've stopped. You've stopped trying. And I know, you're probably going to be screaming at me from the other end of the podcast here going, well, yes, Kirsty, but if we don't have people come on our YouTube channel, then it's not going to be monetized. So I'm not going to make money from it. If I don't have people buy things from my Etsy store, then I'm not going to make any money. So therefore, I can't buy the cheese. Of course, I understand that. And I'm not saying that that's not reality. That's not true. But is that the only reason that you're doing what you're doing? Are you only doing it for that? Because if the answer is yes, I think you need to reconsider the reasons that you are in small business, that you are crafting, that you are a creative in the first place. Because I truly believe from the heart that you should be doing this because it's what you love, it's your passion, it's what you get up in the morning and crave, it's that fulfillment, it's that ecstasy, it's everything that you get from it when you create, when you are a creative. And again, I want to reiterate that when I say you're creative, it doesn't just mean you're a crafter. You know, you can be a creative and have a small business in anything. Or a business. It doesn't have to be small. You can be a creative. But it needs to be what floats your boat. I love that expression. What floats your boat? Because boats only float with one thing, don't they, right? They float in the sea. I'm probably going to get this analogy completely wrong now, but I'm going to roll with it because I've already started. Whatever floats your boat. And your boat, not everybody else's. Screw everybody else's boat, right? They may have a yacht. They may have a pirate ship. Galleon, that's the word. You're in your little wooden rowboat, right? That's what you should be focusing on. What floats your boat? What makes you tick? What makes you get up in the morning, get excited for the day, have a fantastic day, and then go to bed at night feeling satisfied? That's what you should be doing. That's where your small business passion should come from, not from a validation based on numbers, whether they be numbers of subscribers, numbers of followers, numbers of orders, or a monetary value. It's not a good way to live. It's not a healthy way to live for your business. Because there are going to be days where you don't get orders. There's going to be days where you don't get subscribers. There's going to be days where you don't get any views on your podcast or your, whatever. I'm putting these podcasts out there and I'm going to leave them. I said to myself, I'm going to put the podcasts out there and I am not going to be sitting there the second a lot of my podcasts I am recording in advance and I'm recording a few in blocks at a time, right? Because it's better for my time management. Time blocking. I digress again, I'm sorry. We are going to be talking about time blocking. It is something that I strive to do in my daily basis because it makes my business work easier. Time blocking, I'm going to come back to it. When I time block, I block together a load of sessions for recording for my podcast, just like I do with my editing. I do a batch load of editing together. Otherwise, I'd be recording a podcast every day, editing every day, making stuff for the shop every day, updating the website every day, updating the social media. There's only so many hours in a flipping day. How is little Kirsty supposed to get all this in? I time block. So I do a batch of my podcast recordings at the same time. I will then do a batch of editing, a batch of uploading, and I set them up to drop on YouTube in advance. So this podcast that I'm doing for you right now, I have just recorded another 3. Okay? I'm possibly going to do another one. It depends on the time. But I've done a batch of podcasts at the same time because it helps my time management. I am then going to edit, set up, put those on YouTube and forget about them. Not forget about them because I don't care. I don't want you to think that. But I'm going to put them on YouTube and I'm going to leave them to organically grow into the massive superpower that I know Printed by Mama is going to become. And I have faith in that process, and that is the validation for me. I cannot tell you the elation that I have from recording these podcasts for you. I'm very new to the podcast world. It's brand new for me. But I am absolutely frigging loving it. And I'm not going to be stopping. I was going to do podcasts once a week without a shadow of a doubt. These are going to be 2 a week within a very short space of time because I am loving doing them. Absolutely loving doing them. I'm loving talking to you guys. I'm loving communicating with you, sharing my experience, sharing is caring, as they say. I am loving being able to give to the community, and that's exactly what I am here for. So validation by numbers is not important. I am not going to be sitting watching every time these podcasts drop on a Wednesday or a Sunday or whatever it is, watching the clock being like, oh, 2 people have watched, 3 people have watched, 5 people have watched, or the opposite, oh, nobody's watched. That's no way to live your life, is it? No way. And I think you would completely agree with that. So we need to get out that mindset, that mentality that your whole business experience should be driven by numbers. Are they important? Yes. But they shouldn't be the be all and end all. They shouldn't be everything. They shouldn't be the reason that you are doing what you love. Do what you love because you love it. Because it's your fire, it's your drive, it's your reason for being. Because that's why you're here. I'm going to leave it there for you guys today. With that being said, I'm wishing you a fantastic day, whatever it is that you're doing. Your reminder, again, as always, to stay creative. I want you to get into that mind space. Forget about those bloody numbers and just be you. Be happy. Do what you love. Light that fire within your soul and just be you because you are fabulous. And I love you very much. And I will see you again on the next one. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.